Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We are diving into The Voice, Season 27.
Ooh, exciting.
Yeah, it's already making waves.
I know, right?
And we've got all the inside scoop from People Magazine and NBC themselves.
Nice.
So get ready for some, surprising gestures,
Okay.
schedule shakeups,
Yeah.
and, a coaching lineup that is going to blow you away.
I can't wait. Let's get into it.
Okay, so first,
Yeah.
let's talk about this incredible story from People Magazine.
Okay.
Okay, so country music royalty,
Huh?
Reba McEntire,
Yes.
welcome newcomer Kelsey Ballerini to the coaching panel with a handwritten note
Wow.
and a very special gift.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
We're not talking about a welcome basket here.
Oh.
We are talking about a sparkly Queen Reba crown.
That's amazing. It's so symbolic, like passing the torch,
Yeah.
Maybe even a sense of like Queen Reba giving her blessing to Ballerini
Right.
as she steps into this role.
Definitely.
It speaks volumes about how country music is evolving, with Ballerini representing a newer generation of artists.
I know. And her note, Reba's note, is just as heartwarming.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she wrote to Kelsey,
Huh.
"It's up to you to keep country alive on the show. Now go out there and show those boys who's the boss."
Oh, I love that.
It's like a challenge,
Yeah.
a pep talk,
Yeah,
and a royal decree all rolled into one.
absolutely. And this is going to fuel some like playful rivalry with the male coaches.
Right?
Michael Bublé, John Legend, and of course Adam Levine making his comeback.
Oh, imagine the banter.
Yeah.
I bet Kelsey put that crown on right away and strutted around the set.
Oh, I'm sure she did.
Can you picture it?
Totally, but think about the weight of that gesture too.
Oh, yeah.
Reba's legacy is huge.
Right?
And now there's this expectation on Ballerini's shoulders to like represent country music in a certain way.
Yeah.
Does she play it safe, stick to the classics?
Right.
Or does she push boundaries and
Right.
maybe even risk alienating some of Reba's fan base?
That's such a great point. It's like she's walking this tightrope between honoring tradition and forging her own path.
Right.
What do you think our listener would do in that position? It's got to be tough being the new kid on the block
Totally.
and having to live up to such a legend.
Definitely.
Okay, and speaking of tough situations, let's not forget about the elephant in the room.
Oh, what?
The schedule changed this season.
Oh, yeah.
The NBC article lays it all out.
Okay, so what's the deal?
So one new episode every Monday night.
Whoa. Okay.
No more double dose during the week.
Well, that's a bummer.
Talk about a curveball, right? And it's like
Okay.
the voice is suddenly playing hard to get.
I know, right?
No more casual watching. You got to be all in on Monday night or risk being totally out of the loop.
Totally.
It's a gamble for sure.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it might make those Monday episodes even more intense,
True.
but it could also make it harder for viewers to keep up.
Right, yeah.
Like life gets busy.
Uh-huh.
You miss an episode and suddenly you're a week behind.
Exactly.
I'm curious, what do you think is behind this schedule shift?
Oh, that's a good question.
Is it a strategic move to boost ratings?
Possibly.
Maybe create more buzz online?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it a sign that The Voice is, trying to adapt to how people watch TV these days?
That's a great question, and I think it's probably a combination of factors.
Yeah.
They definitely want to stay relevant,
Uh-huh.
but it also forces viewers to be, more engaged,
Right.
more invested in each episode.
Yeah.
You know?
It's almost like they're saying, hey, if you want The Voice, you got to commit.
Right.
But don't worry, listeners. The live shows will still have some Tuesday episodes.
Oh, good.
So mark your calendars for those.
Okay, we'll do.
And if you do miss something, there's always Peacock.
Gotta love streaming services these days.
Right. Speaking of things we love,
Yeah.
can we talk about that amazing promo where all four coaches sang Tiny Dancer together?
Yes. Elton John would be proud.
Seriously. Their voices blended so well.
I know.
And, you could already see the chemistry between them.
Mm,
It was like a sneak peek into the dynamics we can expect this season.
for sure.
And let's not forget,
Yeah.
Adam Levine is back.
Yes.
After taking a break from the show, he's back in the red chair.
Mm-hmm.
And according to him, the stars aligned for this comeback.
Interesting.
I wonder if he'll bring a fresh perspective or fall back into his old patterns.
That's a good question.
Right. It'll be interesting to see how he fits back in with the group.
Yeah.
And the NBC article mentioned that he's already teasing some playful tension with the other coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the time away has made him more competitive?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe even a little ruthless?
That's possible. We'll see.
Only time will tell.
Right.
But speaking of potential drama,
Yes.
we've got to dive into Kelsey Ballerini's honesty in that Women's Health interview.
Oh, interesting.
She admits to feeling vulnerable about being judged on The Voice.
Yeah, that makes sense.
She's a successful artist. But this is a whole new level of exposure.
Right.
It makes you think about how even the most confident people have their doubts.
Definitely.
It's true. She said something like, I'm used to people disliking my music. That's fine. Not everything is for everyone.
Yeah.
But on The Voice,
Uh,
it's personal.
right.
It's her personality.
Yeah.
Her coaching style,
Yeah.
her decisions, all laid bare for the world to judge.
It's a different kind of pressure.
Right.
And this ties back to what we were talking about earlier, that
Right.
Reba Crown isn't just a gift.
Right.
It's a symbol.
Yeah.
It raises the stakes for Ballerini in a way that none of the other coaches are facing.
Wow, you're right. That's a really insightful connection.
Thanks.
And before we go any further, can we just give a shout out to our amazing listeners?
Yes.
If you're enjoying this deep dive,
Mm-hmm.
make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel.
Please do.
We have so much more to unpack, but we've got to take a quick break. We'll be back in a flash with even more juicy details about The Voice.
Can't wait. And we are back, diving even deeper into the world of The Voice.
We left off talking about Kelsey Ballerini's vulnerability,
Yeah.
which is fascinating when you consider, her success in the music industry.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, she's topping charts, selling out arenas,
Mm-hmm.
but stepping into that red chair on The Voice brings a whole new level of exposure.
Definitely.
It makes you think about how even the most confident people, have their doubts.
It's a good reminder that we're all human,
Yeah.
even those in the spotlight.
Right.
And for Ballerini, that vulnerability is heightened by the fact that she's representing country music
Yeah.
on a platform that often leans towards pop.
Right. It's like she's carrying the weight of an entire genre on her shoulders.
Yeah.
Remember what Reba wrote in that note?
Oh, yeah.
Keep country alive on the show.
Right.
No pressure there.
Exactly. And that pressure is amplified by the fact that she's the only female coach this season.
Oh, that's true.
It's a dynamic we haven't seen in a while on The Voice.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Right.
Will she gravitate towards country artists? Or will she branch out and embrace different genres?
Those are some great questions.
Yeah.
And speaking of coaches, how do you think Adam Levine's return will shake things up?
Wow.
Will he slip right back into his old role as the resident prankster?
Yeah.
Or will we see a more mature,
Uh,
maybe even a bit introspective side of him?
well, based on the NBC article, it sounds like he's already back to his old tricks,
Oh, really?
teasing the other coaches and stirring up some friendly competition.
Okay, but maybe.
Yeah.
Just maybe.
Yeah.
That time away gave him a new perspective.
Maybe.
Maybe he'll surprise us with some unexpected wisdom.
Yeah.
Or like mentoring moments.
That would be cool.
I hope so. I'm always a sucker for a good redemption arc.
Right.
And thinking back to that promo with the coaches singing Tiny Dancer,
Mm-hmm.
there was a definite spark between them, a sense of camaraderie that I missed in recent seasons.
I agree. There's a certain magic that happens when you have coaches who genuinely respect each other's talent and can have fun together.
Right.
It creates a positive atmosphere
Yeah.
that translates to the contestants and the viewers at home.
It's like a chain reaction of good vibes.
Exactly.
And speaking of good vibes,
Yeah.
I have a feeling The Voice is banking on those vibes to keep viewers engaged despite the schedule change.
Right.
One episode a week.
Yeah.
It's a bold move.
It's definitely a risk, but as we discussed earlier,
Hey.
it could also be a brilliant strategy to create more anticipation and buzz.
Right.
It makes each episode feel like an event,
Yeah.
something you don't want to miss.
That's true. And in a world where we're constantly bombarded with content, that sense of exclusivity can be really powerful.
I agree.
But let's be honest, for those of us who live for those dramatic voice moments, waiting a whole week for the next episode is going to be tough.
It is going to require some serious patience, but hey, maybe it'll give us more time to dissect each performance,
Okay.
analyze the coaches' strategies,
Yeah.
and come up with our own predictions.
You know what? I'm actually starting to see the upside to this schedule change.
Really?
It's like a slow burn,
Huh.
a chance to really savor each moment
Yep.
and appreciate the artistry that goes into each performance.
That's a great way to look at it. It's about quality over quantity.
Yeah.
And it forces us to engage with the show on a deeper level.
And speaking of engaging, we'd love to hear from you, our listeners.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on the schedule change?
Let us know.
Do you think it will help or hurt the show? Hit us up in the comments.
Yes, please.
And don't forget to like and subscribe
Yeah.
for more deep dives into the worlds of music, TV, and pop culture.
We've got so much more to explore, so stay tuned. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves,
Okay.
let's circle back to Kelsey Ballerini
Good.
and the unique pressures she's facing this season.
You're right. We can't forget about that.
Yeah.
So we've talked about the symbolism of Reba's crown,
Yeah.
the pressure of representing country music,
Uh-huh.
and the vulnerability she expressed in that Women's Health interview.
Exactly. And all of this is happening while she's trying to establish herself as a credible coach
Right.
alongside these seasoned veterans.
Yeah.
It's a lot to juggle.
It makes you wonder, how will she handle it all?
Right.
Will she lean into her country roots,
Yeah.
play it safe, and try to appease the traditionalists?
Mm-hmm.
Or will she take risks, push boundaries,
Yeah.
and maybe even ruffle some feathers?
Those are the million-dollar questions.
Right.
And I think the answer lies somewhere in between.
Okay.
She needs to find that sweet spot where she can honor her country music heritage
Yeah.
while also forging her own path
Mhm.
as a coach and a mentor.
It's a delicate balance, that's for sure.
It is.
And it's going to be fascinating to watch how she navigates it all.
Right.
Will she let the pressure get to her? Or will she use it as fuel to prove herself?
Yeah.
And maybe even defy expectations?
It's like a high wire act.
Yeah.
And we're all holding our breath to see if she can pull it off.
And you know what? I have a feeling she's going to surprise us all.
I hope so.
She's got that fire in her eyes.
Yeah.
That determination to prove that she belongs in that red chair.
I'm rooting for her to succeed, not just for herself, but for all the young women out there
Mm-hmm.
who dream of breaking barriers
Yeah.
and making their mark in a male-dominated industry.
Me too. It's about time we had more strong, talented women at the helm in the music world.
Definitely.
And speaking of strong women,
Yeah.
let's not forget about the incredible female contestants who will be gracing the voice stage this season.
Absolutely. They're the heart and soul of the show,
Oh, yeah.
and their voices deserve to be heard.
And we'll be right here with you, listeners.
Yes.
Every step of the way, analyzing the performances, dissecting the coaches' strategies, and celebrating the triumphs of these amazing artists.
Absolutely.
But before we get too carried away, we need to take a quick break.
All right.
We'll be back in a moment to wrap things up
Okay.
and share our final predictions for The Voice Season 27.
Sounds good.
And we're back for our final thoughts on The Voice.
Yes.
It's been a whirlwind,
Yes.
but what are you most excited to see as the season, progresses?
I'm really curious about the coaches dynamic. We've got Adam Bakkanen,
Right.
Kelsey in this new role,
Yeah.
Michael Bublé bringing his energy. It's going to be fascinating.
It is. We talked about Ballerini and the guys, but I also wonder if we'll see some unexpected alliances.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, like maybe Bublé and Ballerini will team up
Oh,
to take on, the veterans, Legend and Levine.
I like that. It'd be a twist.
Yeah.
Especially since they both represent genres that haven't been super dominant on the show.
Right, exactly.
That would shake things up for sure.
For sure. And speaking of shaking things up, I'm also curious how the contestants adapt to the schedule.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Having a whole week between performances, could be good or bad.
Yeah, right. It gives them more time to work with the coaches,
Mm-hmm.
but it could also be a lot of pressure.
Right, like a double-edged sword.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the scrutiny of being the only show on Monday.
Ooh, yeah.
They've got to keep people hooked.
That's where the coaches are key, right?
Right.
They need to guide the teams and, provide support.
Right. It's more than just singing.
Exactly. It's that connection, that trust, helping them reach their potential.
That's what makes the show great, right? It's about their journeys,
Absolutely.
all the ups and downs.
I think this season will do that in a whole new way.
I think you're right. So, listeners, tune in to The Voice Season 27, Mondays on NBC.
Don't miss it.
And come back here to the deep dive for more.
We'll break it all down.
Like and subscribe so you don't miss any episodes.
We've got great stuff coming up.
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.